Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Conversation Is podcast. I'm Charlie Pitson, and with me is...
Joshy boy, once again.
Joshy boy.
What's up, people? How we doing?
Yeah, this week we are doing Anchorman.
Anchorman, what a film.
Yeah, so we decided not to do any more Oscar Best Picture nominations for a while.
I was tired. We needed something silly.
We need something to do, so we thought...
we need something silly.
Why not do probably one of the greatest comedies of all time? Something I didn't really like when I first watched it until we watched it recently. So with that, we're going to get started on Anchorman. Right, so this is the first time we're actually watching the film and doing this.
And doing this, yeah.
We're watching the theatrical version, not
for
the extended.
a while. It's been a while since we've been able to do that because everything else we've had to go and see
in the cinema.
Yeah. So we could actually have like specific conversations about things.
Yeah. So this is PG-13 apparently.
PG-13.
So
really?
I've only ever seen the extended version.
Although I don't think it's particularly bad. Like,
no, what do you think of this film? Like, do you think this is? Do you think it's overrated?
I don't think it's over. I mean, I know a lot of people think it's good, but like
a lot of people think it's great.
Yeah,
I personally didn't like it for a while.
I think it's really good. I think the second one gets a bit shit.
I think with the second one, it's mainly due to when he goes blind, and then it just kind of drops, and then it's too long.
There's a whole section of the film that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah,
because it's just not funny. Whereas this one is very, you know where it's going all the whole time.
It is timeless though.
Very simple, yeah. It's a very simple concept, very simple story.
And this is like, I think it's the only film, top of my head at least, that stars Judd Apatow.
Really? Oh yeah, he was in this, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the
pretty sure he plays like he works on the.
He plays like the assistant to the
assistant or something. Yeah. Because Seth Rogen's the cameraman.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Yeah,
Seth Rogen's the cameraman. That's so weird.
This cast is full of people that are pretty big now. Yeah. You know, leading actors, like obviously this is Will Ferrell, but they made this film kind of for him.
Paul Rudd,
yeah, Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, oh my god.
Who's the other one? Oh, David Koechner, aka Rob Corddry.
Oh my god.
So apparently this film went through a bunch of kind of rewrites in a way where so the original idea came from about something to do with like a news team. They were on a plane with monkeys. I think it's monkeys.
Oh, you told me about
and
this,
ninja throwing stars. And the plane crashes, and they've got to survive on this island against these, and now ninja throwing star like monkeys. Yeah, so they got to try and survive on an island, and obviously it got too carried away. Paul Thomas Anderson was even going to produce the film as well, and he left because of that. And then they couldn't get the film made, so they decided, okay, let's just
do a normal film.
It's not even a normal film.
I mean, it's not, but it's like it's as normal as it's a lot more normal than the second one. The second one was a bit weird.
The second one goes like, a bit over the top, but
yeah, the characters in this are so good. I don't think there's a single weak character in this film.
No, exactly.
Which makes it so good.
I can't take Steve Carell seriously though. It's just the way he acts with his eyes in this film. Not so much like the things he says, because I don't really find like some of the stupid stuff that Brit comes out with. I'm not particularly.
I find it funny because it's the delivery's great.
It's just the way he acts
funny.
with his eyes in it, and it's just he's he comes across as brain dead just through the way he stares.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, he's great though.
I love how
look at him. It's just.
I thought it's the bit where the baby is watching him.
Yeah, and he's like,
Rob Baby! It's like, oh, his first words! Like, what?
Are they just playing football?
Playing American football in that? Imagine being able to enjoy your job this much, though. It'd be great. Because you're just so good at it. You can just chill out on set, just be like, oh, well, this happened today, and, you're just telling the news. And if it's something that, if you don't mind being in front of a camera and stuff like that, you're just like, yeah, man, this is cool. Have a great time. Yeah.
Oh my god, Fred Willard's in this.
Fred, yeah.
And Chris Parnell. And isn't that what's her name as well? From Step Brothers. Catherine Hahn. Next to Paul Rudd, yeah.
Is it?
Catherine Hahn, Adam Scott's wife.
Oh, yeah.
The stepbrother's the one who hates her life, and then she tries to have sex with John C. Reilly. And she's like pissing in the urinal. Anyway, so we can't obviously not talk about other McKay Ferrell films, but what we can do is something we do all the time: rank the films.
Oh my god, yeah, fair.
Because I know you've seen at least the ones with them, the ones where they collaborate together. Not so much.
Wait, I'm trying to
not
think.
so much Vice and The Big Short.
So
it would be.
What am I working with here? Because I feel like I might have only seen Anchorman and Anchorman 2.
Really?
I don't know.
So we got Anchorman. We got that the Wake Up Ron Burgundy, the Lost movie, which is made out of a lot of. They shot a lot of stuff for this film.
Yeah,
and it didn't make it. But they shot so much footage that they managed to make an entire film from the footage they didn't use.
That's crazy.
With a narrative, it doesn't really make sense. I've watched it a few years ago, but it doesn't come with the Blu-ray for some reason. But he did Talladega Nights. Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, Step Brothers, which you obviously seen. The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I've seen The Other Guys.
Anchorman 2. And that's kind of it, really. They did Get Hard, but he only wrote the story. He didn't direct it.
Get Hard, Jesus Christ. That's the one with Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, yeah.
I've seen that.
And obviously The Big Short and Vice, but they don't count because they're not the Ferrell McKay films. But have you seen all them?
I've seen the 2 Anchormans. I've seen The Other Guys. I feel like I've seen Talladega Nights before.
And Step Brothers. You must have seen Step Brothers.
I've seen Step Brothers. I don't remember any of it.
How long ago did you watch Step Brothers?
Fucking ages ago.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
2008? 2008?
It must have been.
Tell me
It must have been very like.
It's probably their like famous film. I think it's probably bigger.
Oh
than
yeah,
this.
definitely. Which is why I'm surprised I'm struggling to remember it. I must have watched it literally like maybe a year after it came out, maybe 2 years after it came out,
and you haven't seen it again since.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because that was the kind of film that I watched. Like,
that's the kind of film that
age.
everyone has seen a million times.
Yeah.
That and Borat.
Borat's great.
But yeah, so out of those, I mean, you can't include Step Brothers, which is kind of odd because I don't
really remember Talladega Nights either. So
that's the one where he's like a NASCAR driver.
I'll just put. Oh
yes.
Yeah,
Sacha Baron Cohen's in it.
Yeah,
that's why I'm getting confused. Yeah, because he plays the French driver, doesn't he?
I don't remember them either of them enough to like put them in a list somewhere.
Yeah,
I do remember enjoying Talladega Nights though, so I'd probably put that above. What's it called?
Anchorman. I'm guessing Anchorman 2 is probably the bottom.
Anchorman 2 is probably at the bottom.
I'd probably chuck The Other Guys just above that.
I don't know. I mean, if we're talking technically with Get Hard in there, Get Hard would be.
Oh no, Get Hard's not included because he didn't direct it.
Okay, yeah, fair.
It's the ones he wrote, directed, and Will Ferrell started. Yeah, it's a thing, but they've collaborated a few times, but not as much as you thought.
I think Anchorman would definitely be top, and The Other Guys would be second.
Okay. So yours, Step Brothers, is just below last, was it?
I mean, Step Brothers, I'm not putting on. Step Brothers and Talladega Nights, I'm not putting on the list. But I do remember enjoying Talladega Nights.
If anyone's listening, whoever's listening, right? Josh, I can't believe Josh has not seen the Step Brothers.
Yeah,
as many times as everyone on earth has seen it.
I know, it's crazy.
Come on, do you remember anything from it? Like Adam Scott is amazing portrayal as Will Ferrell's brother, and they do the whole Sweet Child of Mine. And like,
I don't remember any of it. I don't.
Wow.
Because I only ever saw it once.
That's mental.
And it would have been just after it came out.
That's blown my mind. But then at the same time, I've only ever seen Anchorman like 3 times.
Yeah, and
this is my fourth time watching it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it the first time I watched it. It felt too silly for me.
Oh, it's definitely a very silly film. You can't take any of it seriously.
Like, Step Brothers has kind of got a different vibe to me. I like John C. Reilly a lot more than I like Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And that's because of all, us Paul Thomas Anderson, him working on Boogie Nights, Hard 8, Magnolia. Do you know what I mean? And he was in Chicago as well. I used to take him as like a dramatic actor, and then when I saw him in Step Brothers, it was the first time I saw him in something that was like over the top. And then he did Walk Hard. He did Walk Hard the same year as well, and it blew my mind. And that's obviously a better film, but It's got in that John C. Reilly isn't in this film, because I think he auditioned or was going to be in this, but then he ended up being in the second one as another newscaster.
That's that scene at the end of the second one is so good.
Because it's over the top in this one, which is the one where he kills him with a pitchfork. Is it this one? Or trident?
I don't even remember the fight.
So I killed the man with a trident. He's like, yeah, where did you get that from? You should probably lay it low.
Oh, he gets a grenade out, doesn't he?
Grenade out, yeah. Brick, where'd you get that grenade?
Where'd you get that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who is the is it Vince Vaughn as the
Vince Vaughn is the rival newscaster.
Is there any more than that?
It makes it so funny. Fucking
Tim Robbins is in it. Luke Wilson, Ben Stiller.
Yeah. Ben Stiller's the leader of the the Hispanic channel.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the best parts of the film is when they come out.
Is he still? He's having a 5-minute conversation with his dog at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite long.
It was quite long.
Are you sure this is not the extended version? Because I don't remember any of this.
I feel like this might be the extended version. Doesn't matter though, because the extended version was just as funny.
Yeah. Ooh, aerial shots of San Diego, aka Los Angeles, trying to be San Diego. They didn't shoot. I think they only shot a few shots of this film in San Diego. The rest was shot in Los Angeles and kind of surrounding, but nothing really in San Diego, which this film is set in. But obviously it's set in the 70s, so they didn't do too many aerial shots until then.
They couldn't do many aerial shots.
Yeah,
really.
I don't think they had the budget to do, not cut like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where they, completely transformed like one entire street, with all the driving scenes and all.
Oh, yeah.
They do that with the billboards and whatnot.
Well, it's just easier to do aerial shots nowadays, isn't it? Especially
with stuff like drones. Honestly, right, knowing Anna McKay and Will Ferrell, they don't take things too seriously, so like they probably just like, nick that from Lethal Weapon or something stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 100% guaranteed that was probably a shot from Lethal Weapon. Like, there's something weird about the production of this film. It makes no sense, and they don't even get into details in the commentary because they just spend like an hour and a half talking nonsense rather than actually describing how they made the film. Which, if you haven't seen it or listened to it, like, go for it, because it's incredible. It's the best commentary I ever made.
Paul Rudd with a massive tash as well was very funny.
Yeah.
This is one of Paul Rudd's best films for me. Like, he's just so funny in this.
I don't know, We're Hot in American Summer. When he plays Andy in that, when he has those tantrums and he flips the plate on the floor, I'm just like, Andy, you gonna clean that up? He's just like, oh. It's amazing. Right. Anchorman 3. Will it ever happen?
Will it happen? I can see it happening. When did Anchorman 2 come out?
2014.
Fair. I can see it happening.
Maybe in like another 5 years.
When did the first Anchorman come out?
2004. Yeah, 2004. I think. Number 2 came out 2013, not 2014.
So there was quite a distance quite a long period
Almost
of time
10
between
years,
the first one and the second one. Yeah. So I can see it still happening.
Yeah, it could be set in the 90s, maybe.
Yeah, that would be great.
I did find a kind of quote from Anne McKay here. Did say, I mean, the last thing he said was in March 1st, 2018. He said that the third film could have something to do with the Iraq War.
What?
The first Iraq War, not the one we, the one we.
Yeah. The third one would be that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or something along the lines of that, which could work. Like, imagine seeing Ron Burgundy and the team go to the Middle East.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
It'd be different from the first and the second one, definitely.
Yeah, I reckon they would have to kind of go there and maybe, they get into some shit,
Yeah, as long as they have some cameos at the end, some big cameos.
Yeah, there's going to be a massive war. Endgame style, like,
There'll be loads of actors.
Probably the biggest fight you'll ever see in cinematic history. It'll beat Endgame. It'll beat Lord of the Rings by far.
Who would you want to see? Like,
it will beat and Game of Thrones.
Who would you want to see in the cameos for the third one? And what channel do you think they'd be from?
Shit, did we have Jim Carrey already? Was that number 2?
Jim Carrey was the Canada news station.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. What news station would it be?
I don't know, actually. Maybe like some sort of like southern...
I was going to say some southern news.
Get him to be Rick
station.
Dalton.
Yeah.
And do like a Missouri kind of, I would love to see...
How my hair's been.
Ken Watanabe.
Oh my God, yeah.
Antonio Banderas.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah. Bong Joon-ho. Yes, Bong Joon-ho. Brad Pitt would be good as well. Joaquin Phoenix.
I reckon if you were going to do another English one, you got to
Tom Hiddleston.
I would go I was going to say Daniel Radcliffe or
Daniel Radcliffe,
or
yes. He does weird shit, doesn't he?
Or Kit Harington or something. It would be
Harington,
funny.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of
both of them. They could both be on the same
I'm trying to think of serious
team,
actors. Yeah, serious actors.
I love to see Daniel Radcliffe just because he's done some weird
he's done some
films.
weird stuff before, so you could see it happening.
I mean, what's that new film? He's got, what's it called? Guns Akimbo. And he's got the gun
the gun strapped to his hands.
Yeah. And he's wearing
great.
a dressing gown and like these weird like claw kind of slippers or something in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's gonna be absolutely crazy. But yeah, we're gonna be on the scene now with when Paul Rudd, the infamous was it Sex Panther?
The perfume scene, yeah.
Is it
the
Sex Panther?
Sex Panther.
It's the one you have the little like
made by Odeon.
It's like the little wow when it opens the box.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And some of the jokes, and then obviously you get like Judd Apatow's. What does he say? There's one of them says smells like Bigfoot's dick.
Smells like Bigfoot's dick.
She said it smells like a dirty filled diaper filled with like Indian food.
Yeah.
And then mate, it's probably the funniest scene as well.
I would have a cupboard like this.
Yeah.
In my office.
Is this his office or Ron Burgundy's? Because I always think it's Ron Burgundy's office.
Nah. It's definitely his office because he's
Brian
talking,
Fantana.
Yeah.
Blackbeard's Delight.
Blackbeard's Delight. It's
That
called Sex Panther by Odeon, and it goes.
It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep, it's made of real bits of real panther. It's quite pungent. That's like it's a formidable scent. Stings and nostrils.
It's the faces he does. That smells like pure gasoline.
Oh man. 6% of the time, it works every time. That makes no sense.
That makes no sense. It doesn't. No, it does make sense. I love how he's so confident with it, and then he gets there and everybody just starts coughing and shit.
It's Judd Apatow's response. I can't remember what he says.
Something about hairy shit.
Oh.
Hairy pile of shit.
It was like burnt shit or burnt hair. It smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
Yeah, a turd covered in... Oh.
And that's creating the greatest cameo of all cameos across any films.
Smells like Bigfoot's dick!
We'll try to contain this, commentary. But
it's just you just can't not talk. This is about the kind of scene, and him getting washed outside as well is great.
I would love to see a longer scene with just like people coming through, walking past, and just saying shit. Like everyone in the office has to say something that he smells like. There's probably like 1 million takes of that as well.
I think this is the kind of thing that would be quite a successful TV show.
Yeah, it actually would work. Yeah.
You know? Because there's so many different stories you can do from a news, just a news team.
There is a TV show on HBO called The Newsroom with Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same thing though.
Yeah, it's definitely
very
not.
serious, very dramatic.
Yeah, but something like this, something silly like this will work.
Yeah, it would.
Because you could do you could be really wacky.
Honestly, like I would love to see a kind of mockumentary style TV show about like a newsroom. Yeah, but I feel like there are films that are similar to that. That there are TV shows that are similar to that.
Something like The Office, but like
like The Office, Parks and Recreation.
But in a
shot with that kind of single kind of camera, handheld, kind of just following. Anchorman already is that anyway, to a degree.
Yeah,
it doesn't quite break the fourth wall in a sense, but it kind of has that kind of feel. That it does feel a bit like a mockumentary just because of how over the top and silly it gets. But yeah, I'd love to see that. That's a great idea. I mean,
TV show.
We're gonna take that first, but
Yeah. If they do,
if it's not existing,
if they do, we have to be credited for it because we said it.
Yeah,
He got us on. He got us on
it's
record.
recording, mate. It's from recording. Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff in the extended cut that I didn't realize was there.
Yeah.
The extended cut is very long in comparison.
It's
to
like
the
hour
film.
50 or something.
Yeah, it's something
ridiculous.
crazy, isn't it? It's nearly 2 hours.
The
How long is the
The second film is 119 minutes, so 2 hours. I feel like
And it's way too long.
It's way too long.
You can cut the whole blind thing out. The blind thing doesn't need to be there.
it really did not need to be there. It was like 40 minutes towards the end of the film as well. And
It's like where
Too long for a third act,
where the third act should have started.
yeah,
Is
it kind of started.
There's like a massive thing
It starts
about
too
him
early.
living in a lifehouse.
yeah, the lighthouse. Oh,
And him being
Wow.
blind. It's like that can be completely cut out because it just doesn't feel like the third act. It just
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like it's been stuffed in there like for no reason.
so it does say on Wikipedia that it's 94 minutes long, but it doesn't say anything about the extended. But this is the same version. We're watching the theatrical version now.
Yeah.
And this is an hour 34.
But it was pretty long.
It was quite long.
Yeah.
I think it might have been around 2 hours, but
It was nearly an extra half an hour of footage, which is pretty crazy when you think
Yeah.
about the kind of film this is. With stuff like, say, like the
the
event.
second one's almost like a minute long under from being 2 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
that says it all. It's not the type of comedy that can surpass hour and 40 minutes for me. Not kind of like Knocked Up or any Judd Apatow.
Because the extra
this is 40.
footage will literally just be jokes.
Yeah, well, they had a second film, didn't they? Wake Up, the Lost Movie.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that isn't made up entirely of unshown footage that created its own narrative, which is quite insane. Like, that's how much footage they shot, and obviously I mentioned this earlier on, but it's insane. But I haven't seen that in quite a while. I wouldn't mind taking a look at that.
It's
I
interesting.
don't remember what it was about.
Well, there must have been a load of different ideas for this film.
Well, yeah,
they
I really wish we had the monkey one though.
Yeah. Maybe that can be the third one.
Oh God,
Can you imagine?
imagine! But it's in the Middle East, not like a remote island. It's monkeys and ninja stars in the Middle East.
Yeah,
and
that'd
like,
be fine. That sounds
it's
right.
like Tarantino then, where it's just like kind of taking history and just flipping it, and it becomes a bloodbath of sorts.
His walk. I'm sorry, I have to mention it. When he has an erection and he walks away.
You have a giant erection.
You have a giant, but when he walks away, and he
It's
does
an optical illusion on his
the
pants.
little waddle, like
The little waddle, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I kind of wish this film wasn't one off. I like number 2 to a degree, but it just felt unnecessary. I'm not interested in a third one, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
I'd rather. I'm liking this new kind of direction that Adam McKay's going in. With The Big Short and Vice.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of those?
No.
Oh.
I know what you mean, though. I can, just from what I've seen of them so far.
They're still quite humorous at the same time. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking, and especially in The Big Short, because Ryan Gosling just talks to you for the most of the film. And they get like celebrities to explain, kind of like really complicated terms within like the, on Wall Street and whatnot. So they're like Margot Robbie in a bathtub. He's like, oh, here's Margot Robbie in a bathtub drinking champagne to explain what this means, and then she kind of like talks to you on the camera.
Yeah.
A bit like Wolf of Wall Street does.
Yeah, I get you.
But it is kind of good. And then Vice is just incredible. It's Christian Bale.
I need to see that.
Christian Bale as Dick Cheney. Sam
Really?
Rockwell plays George W. Bush.
What the fuck?
Yeah, incredible film. You need to get on that. But yeah, so his new kind of like these new films he's doing, I kind of prefer them over these.
I just want to see Christian Bale play Dick Cheney.
Yeah, and he's incredible, and he didn't win the Oscar for it. He was nominated, didn't win though. I believe Sam Rockwell did win for George Bush.
Nice.
I think he did. 2017.
Oh, so it's quite a recent.
Yeah,
film.
it's been a few years. Yeah, Big Short was released in 2015. Okay.
There's going to be some crackers for this.
Yeah, so with that, we're going to do Rotten Reviews. The only segment I think that has actually been consistent.
Yeah, because it's an interesting segment to do, really.
Yeah.
Because it's basically just me attacking people for having
yeah. And
different
it's
opinions.
usually, I don't really have the opinions in this. I normally read them out. Ashley was the one who did it before as well. But yeah, no, there's some...
It's just me slagging people off for having a different opinion.
No, it's great. So, yeah, with that, we'll get started. So, this comes from Ozus is World Movie Reviews, and they say that uneven comedy is sometimes amusing, but too often it's a bad joke prolonged.
I can see where the good jokes get prolonged, and they're kind of almost made into bad jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how
they
happen.
Pushed me away
yeah,
because they happen. You like it gets to a point where you're like, yeah, it was funny at first. It's not funny now.
And then they keep going into the scenes.
And they keep going. And you're just like, oh my god, this film would be so much shorter if they'd just taken.
It's like 7 scenes in this film, and it makes up 90 minutes of them just like still doing jokes, but they just don't know when to stop improvising, and they just couldn't be bothered to edit it out because they found it too funny.
There's so much of it, and they're just like, well, we want everyone to see all of this. So
I feel like that's a fair review. That's a rare,
kind of fair,
it's a rare, fair review.
Although it doesn't really say that there's any good jokes, does it?
Well, they gave the original score was C+. I don't know how they managed. It's not the percentage.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad at all. I think,
especially for a comedy like this.
Yeah. I think he's fair. I think it's fair. But yeah, on the next one, so we got Big Picture, Big Sound says relentlessly silly but not quite funny parody of 70s network news. Never quite lives up to his promise.
I think the first one lives up to its promise because you get quite a good ending from it.
That's probably how I would describe the second one, but obviously 80s, not 70s. But yeah, I think the first one it kind of feels a bit more of a cult classic in my eyes rather than just a classic comedy. But I'm pretty sure it did. I think it did pretty well at the box office. I know number 2 did. Number 2 made 120 million over budget
because people were quite hyped about number 2, weren't they?
Yeah, this was kind of more
because it came out so long after the first one.
It was in demand. I mean, I would definitely call it a cult classic. This was 26 million, and the box office was 90.6, so not bad at all.
Jesus Christ, fair play.
And that's quite cheap. That's the second one is double the budget itself. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think it did fairly well. Anyway, back onto the next one. Princeton Town Topic says, so we get the next one is ostensibly modeled on the egomaniacal Ted Baxter of the old Mary Tyler Moore TV series. This adventure's protagonist is less comical, less endearing, and generally grates on the nerves. I think, unless you know who Ted Baxter is from the Mary Tyler Moore show.
Honestly, that review lost me in the first sentence because it's just too many big words.
Too many big words. Too many big words that I almost didn't mess up.
Like, I was an English lit student, and even that's too much fucking shit for me. You're writing you're writing a review on Anchorman. Don't try and throw big words at people.
Yeah. Use that for Parasite, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it for something.
Leave it for something that's actually like,
Well, I mean,
nah. Too pretentious for me.
Done. On to the next one. This is from Dark Horizons. Fans of the Todd Phillips School of Comedy are going to be dividing this one. There's real potential here and a great premise, but it had been a little cleverer. It could have been so much more.
I almost agree.
And I think they mean they knew exactly what this film was going to be, and they're disappointed it wasn't. Anchorman fighting monkeys with ninja stars.
Yeah,
but I get what they mean with the Todd Phillips.
Yeah, I agree.
If you've seen any of Todd Phillips' older films, like Old School, starring with Ferrell and Luke Wilson, seen that?
Luke Wilson,
Owen Wilson's brother. Wow.
Yeah, I know who Owen Wilson is. Luke Wilson.
Yeah. Notably known from Wes Anderson's early work, like Bottle Rocket, Royal Tenenbaums. He played Richie in Royal Tenenbaums.
What's his first name?
Darjeeling Limited. Did you what? No, he wasn't in that. No,
what's his first name?
Luke Wilson.
Luke, right.
Yeah. He's in Death at a Funeral. The remake.
Oh, I've seen Death at a Funeral.
Yeah. He's
Oh, yeah. I know who Luke Wilson
He's in the second one, I think.
What have I seen him in?
The second Anchorman. I'm pretty sure he's in the second Anchorman, or even the first one.
Let's have a look.
He's in this. He's in this film.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he is in this one. He's one of the ones they fight at the end.
Yeah,
he's Frank Richard.
Yeah, I remember now.
Or Vachard, I'm guessing
and I've seen Death at a Funeral as well.
Death at a Funeral, yeah. So yeah, them two were in that together, and it's kind of ridiculous premise, really. Anyways, so let's get back on.
Yeah,
let's do some more. So the NYC film critic says, overall, I put Anchorman on about the same level as Dodgeball. Both movies are pretty stupid and don't generate as many laughs as you wish they would.
Is that it?
Well, no, they've all got full, like, bigger reviews. This is kind of the
yeah.
I'm not going to read the full reviews. We'll be here all night.
I kind of agree in that it's on the level of Dodgeball, but Dodgeball for me was quite funny.
But it's the same type of film.
Yeah, it's definitely the same kind of film.
It's very silly. I want to say it's pretty stupid. I would say it's very silly, but it works in that way. If you contain it in that kind of separate genre, like, it's kind of slapstick in a way.
Yeah, I think for me, all that review's done is make me want to watch Dodgeball. Because Dodgeball's really silly.
Which one's that? Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn, isn't it? And Justin Long gets hit in the face with a wrench.
Because I don't remember much.
If you could dodge a wrench,
if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Bang. And we got... there's no one here. This is quite controversial. This is TonyMedley.com. Misses a golden opportunity by crossing the line that separates parody from stupidity.
But that's why it's funny. It's because it's stupid. It does cross the line.
It's not stupid. It's silly.
It's both.
Stupid kind of claims so that it's not aware of how over the top it is, but it is aware.
Yeah, it's very aware of what it's doing.
And I think I won't say it's clever.
I think it's a well-realized film because they knew what they were going for and they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, really. It's not like they tried to make a funny... They made a funny film in which it's just...
It's dumb. Yeah, it's dumb, but it's great.
But yeah, no. Sorry, Tony. We don't agree with you.
We don't agree with that one.
And I don't even think it's a parody either.
It's not a parody.
It's not really a parody.
I mean, what would it be a parody of?
Well,
because surely a parody. I mean,
newsrooms basically. Anchorman.
Yeah, I guess, but like, see, I'm starting to.
And I think actually saying that, I think the character Ron Burgundy was based off an actual Anchorman.
In which case, that makes sense then.
It says here somewhere. Oh, so yeah, the physical appearance of the Ron Burgundy character may be modelled after real-life news anchorman Harold Green, who worked at KCST-TV and KGT-TV in San Diego during the mid-70s and early 80s. And obviously Will Ferrell grew up in Los Angeles, so he must have been familiar with his work. And yeah, he just kind of based the look on him, not so much... kind of how he acts, because you wouldn't get far if you acted like these kind of guys.
These guys are awful at their job.
So yes, they are paradise. They are paradising kind of the 70s more, not so much of like.
But what I'm saying is,
things,
I think
the sexism in the 70s.
What I'm saying is, I think the guys used. I mean, it's nitpicking from me, but I think he's used the word parody wrong there, because parody doesn't denote something other than the form of art, the form of artistry that you are, that you're making. So if he was to be a parody, it would have to be a parody of another film about a news anchor. You can't call it a parody because it's based on a real news anchor.
It's its own kind of thing, isn't it? It's not taking
it has to be another film. It can't just be something real. It has to be. It doesn't
have to be a film. It could be a book. It can be anything really.
Technically.
But at the same time, usually, probably the best known parody films are, Airplane and The Naked Gun, and then you got like Scary Movie and all that.
But those would be parodies. Those would be parodies of a genre.
Because we grew up watching Scary Movie, and we probably, obviously watched Airplane and stuff when you're growing up, because your parents, grandparents would have shown it to you.
Yeah,
classic films. But you know what you're going into with those. You can pinpoint, okay, so Scary Movie 1 is just ripping off Scream with bits here and there, and and then there's like little tiny cameos of parodies.
But it's for me that is a parody, because it takes the cliches about horror films at the time and blows them up and makes them funny. That's what makes it a parody.
Referring to other films, and they do it really clever as well. I think the first two...
the Scary Movie films.
The first two were incredibly great.
There have been some less successful parody films after that, stuff like...
there's loads. Disaster movie, epic movie, superhero movie.
What's the one that's based on... that's a parody of 300?
Meet the Spartans.
Meet the Spartans. That's the one.
Yeah, that was good. I like that one.
But those for me are parodies. Like, you know,
Yeah, they're terrible. I think they stopped making them now.
I quite enjoyed them.
There was a time between the mid to late 2000s and you know, and then they just totally died off, and then they finally made Scary Movie 5 after like 20 years.
And people just didn't care.
No one cared.
They were like,
it was just Charlie Sheen,
we don't like
Lohan,
parody films
Snoop Dogg
anymore.
was in it. Yeah, we just didn't need it. But yeah, this is not a parody. By no
it's
step,
definitely
not a chance.
because there would have needed to be something for it to be a parody of, and I don't think there really is anything that is a parody of, like directly. You can say there's nothing in this film that you can say.
Oh, that is definitely
a parody of this specific film.
Unless maybe we're missing it, and other people do see it. Maybe it does parody like maybe 70s films, but like
there might be some stuff about it. Yeah, I can see that.
But saying that, you know.
Because we haven't.
A parody at the same time. For it to be successful, you have to parody something that is successful itself, or at least well known. Because
then people can like relate to stuff that they see.
Yeah, otherwise
they're
just
like,
flop.
Lol. I love it when stuff like I hate it when stuff like that happens in these kind of films.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, in Scary Movie there'd be the picking up the phone, and there's the killer's on the phone and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's just like that's a parody of the fact that, you know, the killer always.
Yeah, that was from the I think it was a Coca-Cola advert. That was the whole "What's that?"
What's that? Yeah.
I think it was a Coca-Cola advert or something. It was.
I remember that. Yeah,
and they did that. Or it might have been Budweiser. I think it was Budweiser. Oh, I can't remember. It might be Budweiser or Coke.
It was one of those. Yeah.
So that's a pretty good one, because obviously, you know, that's more relevant to the time. So like those adverts came out, and while they were writing it, obviously they were making jokes while they were shooting the film, because they wanted to make it more relevant to, you know, that exact time. So when people saw it in the cinema, they were like, "Oh yeah, this advert came out like 3 weeks ago. How the hell did they get this in this film?"
This
They're
is funny.
They did reshoots like 20 days ago. You know what I mean? Like a day after the advert, they're like, "Oh guys, we got to make a new scene." Why?
Like 3 days before the film came out.
It would be fucking funny if we put like "What's up?" in the script. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we don't know any of that. So we'll do one more. This is probably the longest segment this has ever been done. But okay, so if we want to judge Anchorman by its own standards, we can observe that nothing in the movie lives up to, say, Toonces the driving cat.
What?
I just wanted to read that one if you had any idea what that was.
Do you?
I have no idea what it was. I wanted to know. I don't know what Toonces the driving cat is, but anyway, we'll try another one, because that didn't make any.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
right, so,
okay, dude. Okay, guy.
These ones aren't very. Okay, this is actually a pretty good one, but it isn't, and instead all we get is tiredly over the top, overly improvised farce that relies more on the popularity of its star than it does on little things like character, story, or continuity. And that's from MovieFreak.com. My only problem with that is that they did not get the film.
Yeah,
I don't think they understood what the film was trying to do.
It's not really there. It's not really there to push characters.
And I'm not saying this film is incredible, but
of course not. No,
I understand. You know,
there's a lot of that one that makes sense, but also there needs to be an understanding of what kind of film this is, and it's not a kind of film where it's character driven. And you know, there's a whole load of plot on the plots. The plot's not there to be great. Yeah, the characters. I mean,
the plot is great, because the story in it really is sexism in the 70s in the workplace.
Exactly.
And how men just couldn't deal with the fact that women were actually just doing things that they wanted to do and actually doing a great job, and you know, they just see them as kind of objects, especially when they all hit on it, you know.
Exactly. And
I think if you're not getting that, that's the story there. But you know, I think they missed the point here on that. With you know, it is entirely over the top, and it is overly improvised, because some of the scenes just keep going on.
The characters aren't there to drive the plot; they're there to have funny scenes. Yeah, because the characters themselves are the ones that make the scenes funny.
This is just a kind of film that you just want to. You know, chuck on. Not something as background, but if you just want to relax and not think too hard and just want to laugh.
You don't have to be concentrating on the film, too much, because you know it's.
And that's not saying it has no story. It's just that, you know,
It's simple to follow. It's not difficult to follow.
Yeah.
You know that you can see at the beginning of the film. we just watched
Jack Black boot the dog over over the bridge. But yeah, carry on.
Baxter.
And there's more aerial shots, right? And I swear these are all from Lethal Weapon. Like, there's got to be something. I'm pretty sure someone did say.
But this is a classic. This is a very lazy thing for for films and TV shows to do. Is just we don't really know how to do the transition from one scene to another, so we'll just do an aerial shot of the city.
Yeah. There's a few goofs apparently. So apparently, in the bar, you can see a bottle of Malibu, alcohol, and apparently that came from 1980. That started in 1980, apparently. So that makes no sense. In the Sex Panther cologne scene, many of the clones and lotions are from the 2000s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Then again, I don't imagine that they'd try and make it really era specific. You know what I mean? I think with the kind of thing that, especially because we literally just watched a video on it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff, they tried to make an effort to make it, make sure that everything's, set to date.
There's a few,
but there were a few errors in that as well. But even,
even then, I mean, it's an incredible feat. I mean,
yeah,
especially didn't they win?
But I think
they won production, didn't they? At the Oscars.
I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that would be a good criticism in a film like that's tried so hard to to make sure everything's era specific and that they've got the timings of everything right, or this film came out at this specific time when the film is set, and stuff like that. So in something like this, it's more forgivable just because they didn't really try and try and keep it consistent anyway. So it wasn't really a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Paul Rudd is incredible in this film. But this is what I mean. They're not really there to drive the plot forward, are they?
No,
they're just there to have funny scenes, and that's essentially what this film is. And when you understand
you do really get caught up in it though, don't you?
Yeah, but once you understand that's what this film is, and the characters aren't there to make it, they're there to make it funny. They're there to put, to be put in funny situations.
Oh yeah. So before we close off this episode, I just want to talk about some news, and I think we both have something pretty interesting. Mine probably not as much as yours, because I know what you're going to say.
What are we talking about? We are talking about Community, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know yours is Community. So
yeah, okay.
What's this news of Community?
So apparently, and this is just rumors from Twitter, that there are whisperings of them doing a film.
Yeah.
Obviously we got 6 seasons in a movie.
#6 seasons in a movie.
#6 seasons in a movie. Because apparently someone asked Alison Brie on a Reddit thread if there was any chance of a film happening, and she responded and said that she got an interesting phone call.
Yeah.
In quotes. I don't know if that actually happened, but yeah, I think Yvette Nicole Brown also chimed in and said she got a phone call as well. So a couple of them have all chipped in and said that
it's started a craze now, isn't it?
Said that they've had some there's been some rumblings and that they might actually be starting.
Do you think they'll do it? Do you think it's?
I would like it. I think they'd have to. For me, they're not going to be able to get Chevy Chase on board. He's not. He's dead. He's not. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
Not Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is not dead. Pierce Hawthorne's dead.
Pierce Hawthorne's dead, yeah.
But it could have been a dupe the entire time, and he is actually alive.
Yeah, I can see them.
Because that's such a Pierce thing.
I can see them pulling something like that. Yeah, I can see them pulling something like that. But I think they wouldn't be able to get him on board anyway, because I just think he just hated working on Community.
That's the thing, though. Wasn't the press? They got something from Pierce when he died, and it was like, I can't remember what it was, but it was filled with this sperm, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it was
because he allegedly
vials
died
of sperm. Yeah,
yeah, he allegedly died from
filling up the vials.
filling
Yeah,
the vials, masturbating. So he died filling up the vials to give to them. That feels like such a piercing thing to do, and I feel like he kind of left it loose, and it kind of like he could have faked his own death. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
it would be the kind of
like
extreme
I said,
that he would go to.
It's not completely out of the realms of possibility.
And then
for
Donald
Community,
Glover,
just because I think Donald Glover will be there. Just because, like, I think actually this, because I remember watching a reunion from them.
Yeah.
From like a couple of months ago. Donald Glover wasn't at the reunion and he didn't do the panel. I think it was just
it was Alison Brie,
John
Brown.
McKay, Yvette Nicole Brown, Jim Rash was there. Dan Harmon was there.
Was Ken Jeong there?
Ken Jeong was there.
And Gillian Jacobs.
Gillian Jacobs was there as well. Yeah, so it was pretty much
everyone but Chevy Chase and Donald Glover then.
Exactly, but apparently Donald Glover went to the big dinner that they had afterwards.
Oh yeah,
as well. I think he probably was just busy during the panel,
yeah.
But because he's a big star, he has a lot of shit to do.
He's got a musical career. I mean, he's an actor. Yeah, he's a director.
I think one of the big cons of being somebody who does so much stuff is that you're just never available for other things.
Or, like you never really do enough of the other things, so you're either focusing too much on music or focusing too much on film. And he writes as well. He wrote Atlanta,
but he does a lot of stuff.
He does a lot of stuff.
So I'm not surprised that he was probably busy at the time.
Yeah.
But I think if they get Donald Glover on board,
I'd be settled for that.
I genuinely think it could be. I
would love a Chevy
Danny
cameo.
Pudi was there as well.
Danny Pudi, yeah. How can we forget Arbed?
How did I forget that? Yeah.
Troy and Arbed in the morning.
Troy and Arbed in the morning.
Yeah. How can we forget Arbed? Arbed himself, man. Yeah, I'm really hoping that is an actual thing and not just.
I think if, like I said, if they get Donald Glover on board, I think it will be all right. Chevy Chase is not going to be on board.
It would be nice. It would have been nice if they had done it with a release for 2019, so it would be 10 years.
Yeah.
So it would have been the entirety of Community would have fit in a 10-year span, kind of like Game of Thrones did,
I think the problem with that though is I think if there is actually something going on and they've actually started preparing for it.
Yeah,
I think it's very, very far off.
It's at least
a couple of years. I reckon.
I'm sure Dan Harmon's at least written the script by now for it to be at the stage for calling. I don't think you call them with an empty kind of treatment for a story.
I think it's more that because for me, if this was specifically Community, I think he'd probably have to contact them all beforehand just to make sure that they can do it before.
But then sometimes you may need the material to kind of persuade them to do it.
Should we do it?
I know it's kind of something that most of them, would do in a heartbeat. But
yeah, because
I still think some of them are quite, big stars.
Yeah, but see, that panel made me realize how much they enjoyed being on set.
Yeah,
because before I was like, oh well, obviously everyone has fun on these sitcom sets and stuff like that, but they genuinely sounded like
I've never seen a cast that has looked so much like a great group of friends.
Yeah, they're definitely all friends. I think the only person who did, like I said, the only person who didn't enjoy being on that set was Chevy Chase.
Yeah,
everybody else loved it, and they said it was like the best, the best things in their lives, pretty much.
It would be. Some of the episodes are absolutely mental.
Yeah, they're cracking, but they were like, oh, even the big stars, even Alison Brie's pretty big now.
Yeah.
Joel McHale's hosted shows, isn't he?
Yeah, he did that Netflix show that got cancelled.
Yeah.
Ken Jeong's pretty big now.
Ken Jeong's pretty big now, exactly.
I mean, he was big. He was big when Community came out. With The Hangover,
exactly.
It came out the same year, didn't it?
But
at the same time.
Obviously Donald Glover as well. But Donald Glover's
probably the biggest star.
Yeah.
By a mile.
I'm trying to think who else. Jim Rash has won an Oscar.
Yeah, for writing.
Yeah. You know what I mean? These are big. These are heavyweights now, really.
Yeah,
but they've all. But really the fact that panel was only, I'd say, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
I think it was at the there's a community convention, isn't it?
Do you reckon what if it's turned around and they've secretly shot the film?
Oh, and it's just they just suddenly release it. They're like,
no, this is a marketing scheme.
Netflix original.
No, it's NBC, isn't it?
Oh,
is it NBC now or CBS? NBC, I think.
Is it NBC? Yeah.
Yeah, and No, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, films do get shot in secret.
What do you reckon?
And I think Community would be a great one to kind of...
What would you reckon they'd be able to do for the film? Because I think they'd have almost the same problem that the In-Betweeners had. In that, you know...
In-Betweeners one worked.
The In-Betweeners one worked.
In-Betweeners one didn't really kind of
me,
restrict itself within the school.
Yeah.
Unlike Community, you know... It's kind of like, you know, Greendale is like another character in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's, you know, there's so many iconic
you know how like New
places
York
in it.
plays a character in like every rom-com. I think
I get you.
I think it could work,
but what would they do for it? Because you can't have them going back to the school, because that was the problem.
I didn't finish the show. I didn't watch season 6.
I haven't watched season 6.
You don't know how it ends either.
No.
Oh,
I think
wow.
I watched the first couple of episodes of season 6, but I didn't. I just stopped watching it because I just didn't. I wasn't enjoying it. Because as soon as Donald Glover left and Chevy Chase, I mean, I know Chevy Chase hated it, but he doesn't mean he wasn't good. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
He's just a funny guy. He's naturally hilarious. Piers Hawthorne's probably one of the best characters on the show. Like,
yeah.
But then they got
What if they got? Hasn't there been an episode where they have to stop the school from being shut down or whatever?
Yeah, that's
because I would say that would be like a possible.
The whole plot of season 5. I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't finish season 5 either.
It's stopping the school from just being shut down.
I feel like that would be a great premise for the film.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
Kind of like they could do like a recess schools out.
Because it was, I think because season 5 changed everything really. Because because Jeff became a teacher.
Yeah.
They'd already all left, but they came back, didn't they? They left school because they'd finished and they'd graduated, but they came back because their lives were worse.
Yeah.
So that's
why they just stay in
back.
Greendale for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
It could be like a 5-year time jump, and they're still there.
I feel like that for me is the big issue with the whole with the film, is that because they've clearly tried to do it before and it kind of was a bit rocky, even though Dan Harmon was back.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've just seen Ben Stiller.
It's fucking amazing. The maracas, man.
He's incredible.
Yeah, there's Luke Wilson.
Lol. Anyway, so I think the big problem, even though Dan Harmon was back for season 5, they still had issues with how they were going to continue the story and continue the plot because Greendale is like a character.
Yeah.
Them moving
no
away
Greendale,
from
there's no community, is there?
Exactly, there's no
because
Greendale.
Greendale, the title is literally, it coincides. It's about the community of Greendale, essentially, so...
It's about their time at
I'm curious.
At college.
If they do this, and they actually do make this film,
I'd definitely be interested in seeing it.
Regardless if it's good or bad,
but this is what
they did it.
This is what I'm saying, though. If they can get Donald Glover on board, at that point, I'd be like, right, he's not going to come back without a good reason for doing it. Because I reckon all the others would do it just for nostalgia's sake anyway.
Yeah. I feel like they'll do
it. No disrespect to the actors and actresses, but I feel like Donald Glover wouldn't do it. If he got the script and the script was shit, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't, because he's,
Why did he leave in the first place?
I think it might have been music, but I think it might have been because of his music. I can't remember.
I think he'd be interested in doing it. Regardless,
I don't know. I think,
and then just get Chevy in as a cameo, and then perfect.
Yeah.
And they can get so many cameos from
because I think they that was another thing from that panel, was that they said that because the reason Chevy Chase didn't like it at all is because he wasn't used to working on TV sets or for TV shows where it would be a lot of hours of
he's notably known from the National Lampoon films and Caddyshack.
With
then again, he was on SNL, and that's a lot of work, mind.
Yeah.
So it's not like he spent most of it, his early career. That's kind of how where he is now is SNL. I mean, he worked, he worked on National Lampoon. He did Fletch.
Yeah.
And then he's done a few, other odd things.
He's a legend.
Again,
really.
He is a legend, but
he's notoriously difficult to work with.
Yeah.
which is why I would understand if he just didn't come back for the film. I mean, I don't know how they'd put him in the film.
I said,
there would have to be some.
Death.
There would have. I mean, it would work in the context of how Community works anyway, because Chang fakes his death like twice.
Exactly, and that'd be pretty good. And then
Pierce Hawthorne. It's in Pierce's character to fake his death, considering he's faked. The faked the fact that he was dying
Troy,
before.
when Troy went on his kind of
Thing around the
journey
world.
around the world, maybe he found Pierce
Yeah.
and he brings him back, and he's like, "Hey guys, look what I found."
Look what I found. Yeah, it'd just be weird that it wouldn't.
And then Cherry Chase was like, "Oh yeah, I faked my death."
But you can expect there to be a lot of fourth wall breaking.
He's like,
in this film.
"How was
It's
all
gonna
the
be
sperm
crazy.
guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, we checked it out." Yeah, a lot of fourth wall breaking.
It's gonna be. I reckon if they.
I'm pleaded right now. Right,
I'm hoping the
I'm out
script's
here,
good.
right? Dan Harmon, the cast community.
I really hope they.
Please
nail
get it done.
I really hope.
Please
they
get
nail
Donald
it.
Glover back. Please get Chevy Chase back. Just bring everyone. Just make it feel like it's the whole family back together one last time. You can bring back some of the other characters, Jonathan Banks and whatnot from season 5 and 6,
Yeah.
and all these other characters that I didn't really watch that season. So, but any
I
other
think
new,
actually that's when I really kind of stopped watching it.
we won't get
really.
Starburns though, unfortunately, because he got blown up in a meth lab, wasn't it?
No,
Or was
he
that-
survived.
Did he? Oh, that was he faked his own death as well. Did
Yeah,
he?
he faked his death as well.
Was that
He
season
comes
5?
back. He comes back in season. Yeah, he does. He comes back in season 5 because he's the ass crack bandit.
Oh, is he?
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not the. You never find out who the ass crack bandit is.
Oh no.
But he gets framed for it.
Maybe I don't remember him coming back, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
He gets framed for the ass crack bandit stuff.
I have one more bit of news. It's not sort of massive, but as we did Uncut Gems, the Savdi brothers have been ordered a pilot on Showtime with Nathan Fielder, who, if you don't know, he is a comedian, and he is almost on the same kind of like level as Eric Andre. He's a massive troll.
Yeah.
That should be quite good. I don't know what it's called, but I just thought you'd be interested in that, as we saw Uncut Gems and Good
Yeah.
Time and
I'd like to see
anything
some more
the
like,
Savdies do.
anything
it turns to
Safdie
gold. You know what I mean?
related,
They've kind of cemented themselves now as like some of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
Over the last few years.
It's the kind of thing where it's just their names make you take notice, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're involved. It's like, oh well,
I feel like they could become like part of this new wave of, kind of like the 70s was like this director heavy kind of decade, and you had like Martin Scorsese, Coppola, Spielberg, Lucas, all these big names, De Palma.
Yeah, it could be the start of a new generation.
New generation,
Yeah.
Savdies. Because in the 90s you had Paul Thomas Anderson, Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith, known for Clerks, Robert Rodriguez, all these guys. I feel like they could be part of this new wave, of kind of bringing cinema back to what it should be.
Yeah. Or
as Martin Scorsese says, these
just
theme parks.
just passionate young directors.
Love to tell original stories. And,
Yeah.
and they don't have sequels either. We don't need sequels. Unless it's a comic book movie. Because I can't wait for Avengers 9.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
But yeah, so with that, we'll end this episode here. Thanks for listening to the Conversation is podcast. I've been Charlie Pitson.
I've been Joshy Boy.
The usual. Go like, comment, subscribe for anything. Facebook, The Conversation is podcast. Instagram, The Conversation is podcast. Twitter, TCI_podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Go follow us. Go share it. Tell your friends. Tell your mum. Tell your nan. Tell everyone. And with that, we'll see you later.